earlier on, you made the distinction between sort of just being nice and being altruistic.
Yep.
And I want to push on that for a minute, because how do you make that distinction? Meaning that a lot of the nice things that we do on a daily basis are things that mildly inconvenience us. Like, it does inconvenience you to open the door for somebody. That's not something that's necessarily in my reasonable interest. I could just walk out the door. Where do you make the distinction between what I think most people consider altruism and just being nice?
Well, are you giving up a value that is more important than what you're providing, right? So I think goodwill among people, having a benevolent view of other people and treating other people with respect and kindness is a value. And if I'm not, if I'm rushing because my kid has to get to the emergency room and I have to drive him there and I'm rushing to save my kid's life, to hell with anybody trying to go through the, right? Of course, right? Because that's clearly my self-interest is to do that. And that is my primary focus. If I'm running to a meeting and I'm a little late, I might not stand there and open the door for somebody. But if time is not that important at that point, then that goodwill is a higher value than what I'm giving up, right? So to me, every human being, his moral responsibility is to work on a hierarchy of values. What is your most important value? And where do all the other values fall in this hierarchy? And one of the ideas around this is never give up a high value for a low value. Now, we always do, we're constantly doing trade-offs, right? So people say, well, you go to the movies and you give up going to the movies to stay with your kids, right? You're sacrificing the movies. Really? No, my kids are great, a higher value. Spending time with my kids is a higher value than going to the movies. So I spend time with my kids, right? So there's a value hierarchy. Sacrifice is when you give up something higher for something lower. I don't sacrifice.
Well, how are you measuring the value? Meaning that in terms of immediate joy, obviously that's not true. I mean, if your kid's barfing in the bathroom and you can go see a movie.
But again, immediate joy is not the standard for anything. Nobody really seriously, when you think about what does life mean, think about the instantaneous gratification. I mean, some people do. That's why they're drug addicts and so on, right? But that's not a serious view of human life. Human life is lived over the long run. Given that I know that, I don't even get joy from the short-term things, because I know if I know I'm, in a sense, sacrificing the future for getting a thrill right now, I don't even enjoy the thrill right now. I mean, you made a critique, I think, in Dave Rubin's show, something about the woman at the bar. Yeah, right, if you're selfish, you're going for the woman at the bar. I'm not attracted to the woman at the bar because my whole view of sex, my whole view of my own life is hooked into what is rational and what is long-term. So the woman at the bar doesn't provide me any kind of, yes, I could get an instant thrill out of that. But the instant thrill is not valuable to me. And it's certainly not valuable to me on the scale of the kind of values I'd be giving up in order to get that thrill. We understand trade-offs in economics all the time. Well, the same thing is true in morality. And here, if I have a principle, and again, we derive principles from what is successful to human life over the long run, what is rational and successful, then I'm never going to be tempted to lie. I'm never going to be tempted to cheat. I'm never going to be tempted by a cheap thrill. It just doesn't interest me because I'm so focused on what is good for me in the long run. And that's the challenge that morality places. Morality is not easy in the sense that it's effortless. Morality requires thinking. It requires engaging with your mind, engaging in what's truly in your long-term self-interest and actually doing it.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Ben Shapiro Show Sunday Special. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all of our future content.